Hi, this class covers the advantages of database management system. So yesterday we are discussed what are the drawbacks of file system. Today we are discussing what is database, what are the advantages of database management system. First of all, before going to advantages, first we'll discuss what is database. What is a data? A data is a known facts or raw facts. Raw facts of an organization is called as a data, or the known facts is called as a data. What is a database? A database is a collection of interrelated data. A collection of interrelated data we called as database. What is a database management system? A database management system is a collection of interrelated data and some set of programs which are used to access the data very efficiently. That's we called as database management system, DBMS. DBMS means database management system is a database management system is a collection of interrelated data and some set of programs, predefined programs which are used to access the data very efficiently. Then we go for what are the advantages of database management system compared to file system, because nowadays every organization using the file database management system. Nobody use file systems at present. So then what are the advantages of database management system? First we'll discuss the one first advantage is controlling the redundancy. So what is data redundancy? We know that data redundancy. Data redundancy means redundancy is a data duplication. In database management system, we control the redundancy. We cannot avoid the redundancy completely. However, we control the redundancy. How we control the redundancy? So then we control, how we control? So in file system, all the application programs which are developed independently so that duplication of data is exist. So that problem is avoided in DBMS. In database management system, all the data is integrated as a single logical structure so that we can avoid the redundancy. So listen, so in DBMS, database management system, all the data is integrated as a single structure, stored at one place, so that we can avoid the redundancy. In file system, the data is stored in multiple files, so that duplication is exist. Here, the data is stored at only one place, so that duplication is avoided. For example, here I given different departments in an organization. For example, an organization has general office, library, hostel, and account office. So we'll maintain some information. For example, in general office, so we are using roll number, name, class, father name, date of birth, address, phone number, previous record, attendance marks, like this. In library also we are using the same some information, roll number, name, class, address, date of birth, mobile number, number of books issued, fine, like this. In hostel also similar we have same information, room number, additional which contains a room number, so and message mess bill. In accounts office again we have the same, fees, installments, discount, balance, total. Among these all the departments, there is some data which is common and some data which is different. When we are developed applications in file system, so suppose it requires 4 files, one is for general office, one is library, one is hostel, one is accounts. So that the roll number, name, class, father name, and date of birth, address, phone number is repeated in 4 files, so that duplication of data is exists. In DBMS, so we'll integrate it as one structure. When we integrate it as one structure and data is stored at one place, so we can avoid the redundancy. Only we can store one time, roll number, name, class, father name, date of birth, address, phone number is stored at one time, and it can be shared by all the users. so that there we can avoid the redundancy. This is one advantage of database. So in database, we cannot eliminate. Remember, we cannot eliminate the redundancy completely. However, we control the redundancy in DBMS. We control the redundancy. We cannot avoid the redundancy. So how we control the redundancy? By storing the data at one place instead of storing the data in multiple places. We can store the data at one place so that we can avoid the redundancy. This is one advantage of database. It's called as controlling redundancy or reducing redundancy. Redundancy means duplication of data. We are reducing the redundancy. This is the one advantage. So second advantage is data consistency. So what is data consistency? So in a file system, there is a data inconsistency, while database management system has a data consistency. By controlling the redundancy, we can increase the consistency. So in file system, the data is stored at multiple places. Suppose we want to update address a mobile number, it is necessary to modify in multiple places. While in the case of DBMS, all the data is integrated at one place, so that we can obtain the consistency. We can reduce the inconsistency, and we can get more consistency. For example, when an address of the student is changed, we can modify at one place instead of modifying in multiple places. That's we called as data consistency. So here check it. So if the same above information is developed in file system, so mobile number of a student is stored in 4 places. If a number is changed, so it is necessary to modify the number in 4 the places. If an address is changed, it is necessary to modify the address in 4 files. While in the case of database, so I developed one database system, and the database will contain multiple tables, and we can store the information at only one place, so we can avoid the redundancy. So that address is stored at one place. When an address is stored at one place, when suppose we want to modify an address, so we can simply modify the address at one place, so that data is fully consistent. This is another advantage of database management system. So all the data which is stored at one place, so we can update the data immediately whenever it's required. That's what we called as data consistency. DBMS reduce the redundancy by minimizing the DBMS enforce consistency. Whenever we are reducing the redundancy, it control the consistency. Automatically we get the consistency. Data sharing. Another advantage of database management system is data sharing. What is the data sharing? So actually in file system, all the applications are developed independently. That means so all the different files, different formats, different folders, different systems like this. While in the case of DBMS, all the data which is stored at one location. When the data is stored at one location, then it can be shared by all the users through network. By using network, we can share all the users. We have the authorized users and unauthorized users. Each authorized user has credentials. By using the credentials, we can avoid the unauthorized users. How we can share that information? That can be managed by the database administrator. We have the database administrator. A database administrator is a high-level skilled person capable to manage all the resources in the organization. So all we can once we can store the DBMS at one location. When the DBMS is stored at one location, so we can control the data so very easily. So in diagrams, I shown in diagrams also. So the first diagram is no data sharing. So in this first diagram, so we have the 3 systems. So in the 3 systems, we have the different applications. So all the 3 systems are there. So we cannot share the information in content in first system into second system. The data content in second system cannot be shared by 1 and 3 like this. While in the case of second system, we have only one system. All the systems which are connected, one server. We have one server. All the systems which are connected to that server. So, and the data is stored in this server. So, this data can be accessed by all the users. When all the users are accessing, so there may be a problem of authorized and unauthorized users. To avoid such a problem, authorized and unauthorized users, we are using so many security mechanisms such as credentials or fingerprints or pin code. Like this, we are using so many security mechanisms. By using these security mechanisms, we are avoiding the unauthorized users. Suppose one of the security measurement is so credentials, username and password. So we can give the user whenever the user want to enter into whenever the user want to share the information, automatically they enter the username and password and share the information. That is the one mechanism. Another mechanism is biometric fingerprint. So whenever we press the fingerprint, then it will be authorized. After authorized, the information can be shared. Or PIN number. So whenever the user want to share the information, they can enter the PIN number. So verifying the PIN number, then it can be accessed. Like this, there are so many mechanisms are there to avoid the authorized and unauthorized users. DBMS is a data sharing. So very good data sharing. So how we can achieve data sharing? So it's in file system. So the data is stored in multiple places, in multiple systems. So when data is in multiple systems, the data which is available in one system cannot be shared by another system. The data available in second system cannot be shared by one and third, like this. That is the problem in file system. To avoid such a problem, so in database management system, all the data is located at one place, one server. So, and all the users which are connected to that server. So whenever multiple users are connecting to that server, there is a problem of security. How we can secure? How we can avoid authorized and unauthorized users? So there are so many mechanisms are there to avoid authorized and unauthorized users. The one standard mechanism is username and passwords. So we are providing all authorized users. We are providing so username passwords. By using username passwords, the user can enter into the database and share the information. That is one mechanism. Another mechanism also there, biometric. Whenever the user want to share the information, the fingerprint of the user can be recognized and check the fingerprint. If it is correct, then only it can access the information. Then only it allows to share the information. This is another mechanism. So another mechanism, PIN number. When the user want to share the information or want to access the information, they must use the PIN number. So by verifying the PIN number, we can access them. Like this, we can avoid both authorized and unauthorized users. That is another mechanism we are using. This is another advantage of data sharing. So data sharing means multiple accessing, multiple users can access. Another advantage is data integration. What is data integration? So data integration means combining the data into one place. That's we called as data integration. In file system, there is no data integration because which are developed independently. When they are developed independently, there is no integration. While in the case of file system, data is integration. Data integration is there. What is data integration? In database management system, all the database will contain multiple tables, and there will be a relationship between the tables. And the database has multiple tables. So we can maintain, for the above example, we can maintain one table for general office, one table for accounts, one table for office. Like this, we can maintain different tables. And there may be a relation between one table to another table. That's what we called as data integration. So that is the advantage of another advantage. So by integrating the data, so we can update the information and we can retrieve the data very efficiently. So that is the advantage. While in the file system, there is no such a facility. There is no integration facility. So which are all must be developed independently. There is no integration facility. When there is no integration facility, there is no data share. While in DBMS, there is a facility of data integration. So data integration means all the data which are located at one database. A database has multiple tables. For the above example, in first diagram, I shown diagram. So in this diagram, so I'll maintain one database, college management software or human resource management software or college management. This is the name of the database. The database name is college management. In this college management database, I will maintain 4 tables: general office table, library table, hostel table, and accounts table, account office. And for each table, so I will maintain a relationship. So general office to library, library to hostel, hostel to accounts will maintain a relationship. So that is called as data integration. So that means a database has multiple tables. Another is integrity constraints. Another advantage is integrity constraints. What is a constraint? What is the purpose of integrity constraints? Constraints is nothing but a condition. A condition we will call as a constraint. Constraints are used to maintain good quality of data. Here. So what is constraint? What is the purpose of constraint? Then we will go for an integrity constraint. What is a constraint? A constraint is a condition. The constraints are used to maintain good quality of data. The data contained in the database must be consistent and correct. That's we already discussed. The data which contained in the database must be correct as well as consistent. To achieve this, we use integrity concerns. We use some conditions. For example, when I apply a constraint primary key or unique, whenever I apply primary key constraint for a roll number, the roll number cannot be repeated. When we try to repeat a number, automatically it produces an error. That's what we call as integrity constraint. So what this constraint means? Condition. So what is integrity constraints? Integrity constraints are used to maintain good quality of data. So whenever we are using the good constraints, so we'll maintain good quality. Good quality means correct data. We already discussed that the data contained in the database must be correct. To achieve this, DBMS enforces so many constraints. For example, primary key is the one of the constraint. When we define primary key constraint, the roll number cannot be repeated. When we try to repeat the number, automatically it produces an error. That by using that constraint, we will maintain unique prime numbers. Prime number cannot be repeated. So that is the constraint. By using that constraint, we will maintain good quality. So the roll number cannot be repeated. Similarly, suppose I want to marks. So marks lies between 0 to 100. I will enforce a constraint. Check constraint. Check marks greater than or equal to 0 and marks less than or equal to 100. When I apply the check constraint, so the marks can lie in between 0 to 100. If the marks is less than 100, it can produce an error. If the marks is greater than 100, also it can produce an error. For example, name. It's a not null constraint. When I apply not null constraint for a name, so if you have, suppose we are not give the name, automatically it produce. The name cannot be a null. So that is the constraint. So in like that, DBMS has so many constraints. By using these so many constraints, we can maintain good quality of data. That's what we called as integrity constraints. So what is integrity? What are the integrity constraints? What is integrity? What are the integrity constraints? What is constraint means good condition. So constraints are used to maintain good quality of data. So integrity constraints or consistency rules can be used to the database to correct the data entered in the database. That means these constraints are used so to correct the data in the database. The constraints may be applied to the data item within a single record, or they may be applied to a relationship between the records. We can apply constraints on column level, table level, as well as column level or table level. So that's suppose we want to maintain a relationship between the two tables. So that time we will use foreign key constraints. For example, for the above example, I already told general office and hostel. I want to make a relationship between the general office and hostel. I use the primary foreign key constraint. Whenever I use foreign key constraint, the relationship which is established between both the tables, that's we called as a relationship. So when we delete one table, automatically it will be deleted in another table also. That is the advantage. So forensic. Suppose when we are updated one table, automatically it will be updated in another table. That is the advantage of foreign. So that like this, we can maintain integrity constraints. Integrity constraints are consistency rules can be applied to database so that correct data can be entered into database. The constraints may be applied to the data item within a single record or may be applied to a relationship between the records. That's we call as integrity constraints. This is another advantage of database management system. So data security, another advantage is data security. How we can provide data security? So so data security means it is necessary to protect the data from unauthorized users. So actually there are authorized users and unauthorized. Who are legal for organization, those persons are called as authorized persons. Who are illegal for the organization, those persons will be called as unauthorized users. It is necessary to protect the data from unauthorized users. How you can protect the data from unauthorized user? So the way of protecting the data from unauthorized users is called as data security. This can be provided by the database administrator, DBA, who is the head of the department for database. They give the permissions, they give the privileges to all the users. By using the permissions privileges, we can avoid the authorized and unauthorized users. We already discussed that. So there are different mechanisms to avoid the authorized and unauthorized users. The one is credentials. So when we use the credential mechanism, so each database, for each user, the database administrator will provide the username and password. Whenever the authorized user want to enter into the system, first they will enter the username and password. That username and password is cross-checked, and if it is valid, then only it allows the user to access the data. That is the one of the mechanism we are using to avoid authorized and unauthorized users. Another mechanism is there, fingerprint. Whenever the user want to enter the database or want to retrieve the data from the database, the fingerprint of the person can be accepted. So this fingerprint will be cross-checked. So when it is matched, then only it allows the user to access the data. This is another mechanism. Or OTP mechanism. Whenever the user want to access the database, so the OTP is sent to the authorized person mobile number or email. Authorized mobile number and users. So by using this authorized mobile numbers and users, the OTP is entered and it will be cross-checked. So if it is correct, then only it allows. Another mechanism is their PIN number. So PIN number is another mechanism. So whenever the user want to access the data, so first they must enter the PIN number. The PIN number is cross-checked against the user. If it is valid PIN number, it allows the user to access. Like this, there are different mechanisms. Similarly, So we are also using IP addresses to verify the cost for each user. We are giving some IP address. So we'll check the IP address of the person also. So we'll provide some IP addresses for each user. So we'll check the IP addresses. If the IP addresses is checked, if the IP address is changed. Suppose we are logging in some another system, that means IP address is changed. Whenever the IP address is changed, automatically, so it will send some verification code. That's will called as data secure. Nowadays we are using mails also. Suppose you are signing some other systems, so automatically it will notify that so you are signing some other system, then they ask the authentication code. If they once you can enter the authentication code, then only it allows. That's what we call as data secure, mail security, like this. So there are so many security mechanisms are there for data protection and to avoid unauthorized users. So all these security mechanisms can be provided by the database administrator. A database administrator is a high-level skilled person capable to manage all the resources of the organization. That's what we call as data security. So this is the another advantage of so data security, database management system advantage. This is also another advantage. Atomicity. So what is Atomicity? So in database management system, a transaction is either entirely is completed or none. That we will call as atomicity. So the transaction has so many subparts. To confirm to confirm a transaction, it must be executed all the steps. So entirely or none. There is no partial process. That's what we call as atomicity. So here are discussed a transaction is commercial database is referred to as atomicity is part. For example, if you purchase something from a point of sale, for example, suppose we want to transfer an amount from yesterday, we are already discussed atomicity. Suppose we want to transfer an amount of 50 rupees or 100 rupees from one person to another person through phone pay, suppose. So suppose I am the A, so you are B. I want to transfer 100 rupees from A to B. First, I can go for my mobile number. I will select the phone pay and I will select the contact. I will enter amount number 100, amount 100. Then I enter the pin UPI pin. Then I will make it confirm. So here the source A work is completed and it will be transferred to B. What in B? So the 100 rupees is debited to credit to so that person account. Suppose that person account, that person mobile is switched off. There is a network issue, or there may be a problem. That account number has a problem. So that account is B account number is not available. B account is locked. Say at that time what? So the transaction is not completed. Here is detected, but that is not credited to B. At the time the total transaction is completed? No. Even the transaction is not completed, again it will be reversed. That's what we call as atomicity. Either it may be complete or none. None. There will be no partial transaction. By using this atomicity, nowadays we are avoiding so many transaction failure problems. Similarly, this will be called as transaction failures. So we can avoid the transaction failures by using atomicity. Similarly, suppose I am using ATM card. Suppose I go to one ATM machine, so I entered my PIN number, and after that I select my account, saving account type, and I entered the amount to withdraw. Suppose I want to withdraw 100 rupees, I entered 100 rupees and again press enter. But I am not get the 100 rupees because of there is a network problem. Due to network problem, I am not get 100 rupees, but 100 rupees is detected from my account. Then what I can do? You can't. So you just forgot it. Automatically that will be reversed within 24 hours. That will be reversed because of atomicity. The transaction is not completed because some amount is detected but not received by the user. So whenever it is received by the user, then only the transaction is completed, but the amount is detected but not received by the user. So for that purpose, say again the amount is reversed to users. That's we called as transaction failures. Those type of transaction failures are automatically controlled by using atomicity. Automatically it will be. So this can be achieved by using this also can be monitored by the database administrator. Database administrator is a high level skilled person. This person will monitor all these activities. That's we call it atomicity. So we can achieve that atomicity by very easily. So like this, there are so many transactions nowadays. So many suffers are transaction failures. So whenever there is a transaction failure, automatically you can receive, we can get the amount automatically. No need actually. For example, I am using my debit card and I purchased at one shop. So I entered entered PIN number also, but the amount is detected in my account, but not credited to the shopper's account. What I can do? Nothing. Just wait for 24 hours. Automatically, it will be reversed because this is the amount deducted by your account cannot be credited because the transaction is not completed. When the transaction is not completed, that's we call as transaction failures. So when there is a transaction failure, automatically the amount will be reversed into in our account. So that's what we call as atomicity. So that means the entire transaction is complete or null. Either it may be complete or null. There is no partial. So it recognizes such a partial transactions and reverse the operations. That's what we call as transaction. That is the advantage of transaction atomicity. To check it, what are the partial transactions occurs. Those partial transactions can be reversed. The check it will check all the transactions whether the transaction is completed or not. If the transaction is not completed, it is a partial transaction and waiting. So immediately the transaction will be reversed. So that's we called as atomicity. So this the database management system will provide such a data atomicity problems. So another advantage is data access longness, database access longness. A database management system has different languages, different sub-languages. It's a query language. So a query language, so in the DBMS has query language. What is a query language? So we have the query languages and non-query. In CBSE language, it's not a query language. It's a non-query language. While DBMS is a query language. What query language? What is a query language? In query language, we can specify what we required without specifying how to get. In query language, just you have to specify what you require. That's enough. Without specifying how to read. That's what we call as query language. SQL is a query language, structured query language. For example, I want the names of all the employees in ascending order. You have to just specify what you need. Employee name. Where the employee names, employees, employee. What order by. What employee name? Self ordered by employee name. Yes, automatically we'll get the all employee names in ascending order. Suppose I want employee name with salaries. So in descending order of the salary, simply select what employee name. What we require? Employee name and salary. Select employee name, salary. From which table? Employee table. What is the how you can display? Ordered by. Salary descending, salary DES. Automatically employee salary will be in descending order. So in this language we have to specify. So what we required without specifying. Database management system has SQL, structured query language. That SQL will provide all the database management systems as SQL. Query language is there. In query languages, we can specify what we required without specifying how to get. There are different queries. There are three subparts in a query language. DDL, data definition language, data manipulation language, data control language. So in data definition languages, we are creating the database objects. In data manipulation language, we are we can delete and update the data. In data manipulation language, in data control language, we are giving the privileges. Like this, there are three sub languages in SQL: DDL, DML, and DCL. DDL means data definition language. Data definition language is used to create, alter, and delete database objects such as tables. So in order to create the tables, alter the table, or delete a table, so we use data definition language. Data manipulation language. Data manipulation language is used to insert, retrieve, read, update, delete the data, not database, delete the data, we use DML language. DCL, data control language, which is used to provide the privileges. So like this database management system has language. SQL language is there, structured query language. It is a query language. So by using this query language, we can access the applications very easily. So that is the another advantage of database management system. So database. Another is development of application programs. Yes, there is a facility of so many application facilities. There are so many facilities are there, predefined programs are there. By using these predefined programs, we can develop the applications very easily. It is a facility to develop new applications very easily because so no need to write the entire process. It is a very simple process. So when it is a very simple, we can develop the applications very easily. If it is a lengthy process, there is no time for development of new applications. If it is very easy, there is a chance to develop, there is a great opportunity to develop new applications. There are so many wizards are there. So in database management systems, there are so many wizards. Wizards means some predefined procedures are there. So by using these wizards, so we can develop the application programs very easily by just clicking, just click, it's enough. So by using that wizards, we can develop the applications very easily. That's what we call as data development of applications. Creating forms. So as we can develop the front-end tools. So by using DBMS, we can develop the front-end tools very easily. We call it as forms. Front-end tools means it's one form graphical representation of the application forms, which retrieves data. So it has the facility. We have the so many forms are there. DBMS will support such a forms facility. So by using that forms, we have to simply specify what is the name of the form. What are the columns we required? What are the mandatory columns? What are the not mandatory columns? What are the buttons required? So everything you have to specify in forms. It's enough. No need to write code. Just there is a wizard. So you go to wizard and check them what you require. That's enough. Once once you complete the total operations, then a form will be created. No need to write the program. So that is the advantage of database. There is no need to write the programs. For example, if I think everybody will know Google Forms at present. So if suppose we want to create one form, so in Java it is necessary to write the programs, graph GUI program. While in the case of Google Forms, I think everybody will know Google Forms. So in Java, suppose if you are developed in Java, so you must write a code for such a form. Whenever you are using Google Forms, it's a wizard. So you have to simply specify email address. So what? Text box. Phone number, S, mobile number. S, mobile number is a numeric. So what are the columns you required? You simply specify the label name and type. So by specifying all them, automatically it will create a form. No need to write the code. That's what we call as wizards. DBMS has such a facility. By using these facilities, we can create the forms very easily. That's we called as creating forms. DBMS will provide such a forms also. So report writers, similarly, it has the facility of reports, outputs. Suppose I want to print output. So we can simply print output, no problem. So by using reports, we can simply print. So we have the facility of reports. By using that facility of reports, we can simply simply print the outputs very easily by using the facility of reports. Then concurrency control. Control the concurrency. We already discussed what is the concurrency control. Concurrency control will allows multiple users to access the data at multiple places. That's we called as concurrency control. DBMS will provide such a concurrency control mechanism. So because of data is stored at one server, so by storing the data at one server, we can provide such a facility concurrency control mechanisms. So that's we have the concurrency control. So by using concurrency, we'll get the accuracy data. The accuracy is there, accuracy data is there. So then backup and recovery procedures are already discussed. So in file system, there is no backup and recovery procedures. Backup and recovery procedures are used to recover the data whenever the data is damaged. To avoid such a problems, we are using backup and recovery procedures. So we'll maintain one local server. Similarly, we maintain one central server, zone server. So again, complete zonal wise servers, divisional servers. Like this, we'll maintain different servers. When one server is failed, automatically we can retrieve the data from another server. That's what we call as backup and recovery mechanisms are there. So many backup and recovery mechanisms are there. By using these all backup and recovery mechanisms, we can recover the data very easily. That's one advantage. Data is there's another advantage of database management, data independence. While file is a data dependency. So data dependency means application program will contain data declarations. While in the case of DBMS, data independency. So means all the data which are stored separately, application programs which are stored separately. An application program cannot have any data declarations. So like this, we can divide both data definitions as well as application program. An application program cannot have any data declarations. Data declarations which are performed separately, application programs which are separate. Suppose you want to modify application program, you can just modify it. It cannot affect the application program. That's what we called as data independency. What is data independency? Data independency nothing but the ability to modify the data at one level without affecting the data at another level is called as data independency. The ability to modify the application, for example, the ability to modify the application programs without affecting the data storage. That's will called as data independence. So that is the advantage that will be discussed in database management. Again, there is a question: data view or data tree schema architecture of database management system. So that will be, I will discuss again next topic. So these are the different advantages of database management system. These are all. So I'll go for chat box and wait for students' responses. Voice వినిపించట్లేదా? No voice.